So apparently, Target continues to struggle, but the plan is working, according to this headline, as the retailer had a down second quarter despite seeing some positive changes. And New York Times reports Target sales hit by Pride Month merchandise backlash. The retailer's quarterly sales fell, in part because of boycotts over Pride themed displays, and it cut its forecast for the full year. Target says backlash against LGBTQ plus Pride merchandise hurt sales. And we can see here Target's stock price 128.75, which is actually up nearly 3% for the day. And according to Supermarket News, the 4th of July holiday and Target Circle Week, a rival to Amazon Prime Day, failed to lift Target's second quarter results. The retailer suffered in many categories and has pulled back on projections for the year. Target is expecting comparable sales to decline by mid-single digit for fiscal year 2023 and earnings per share to sit in the $7 to $8 range. And earlier this year, the company was looking at a comparable sales hit in the low single digits and earnings per share to be anywhere from 775 to 875. So obviously there's been some sort of adjustment there, perhaps maybe in conjunction with some of the choices that they have made. However, Target competitor Walmart will announce financial earnings tomorrow, and insiders believe the numbers will be much higher. This is despite Walmart shares a warning for customers. As the retail giant's CEO shared, this Doug McMillon CEO shared some news that shoppers should pay very close attention to, even if, and he throws others' names into this, even if they shop at Target, Costco, or Kroger. And this is something we actually talked about yesterday on a video titled Walmart Warning Customers, Target, Costco, and Kroger. So you might want to go check that one out after you're done watching this video. And while you're at it, please smash that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Now, it says here that, however, according to Supermarket News, Walmart has a bigger presence in grocery while Target continues to rely on non-essential items. Target CEO Brian Cornell said the second half of the year could be turbulent with rising interest rates, student loan payments resurfacing, and continued inflation. And quoted here, Cornell said, "As we look at the customer landscape today, we recognize the consumer is still challenged by the levels of inflation that they're seeing in food and beverage and household essentials. So that's absorbing a much bigger portion of their family budget or their discretionary spending or available spending that maybe they can't even put on a credit card because the credit cards are maxed out too." Now, this also ties into what BlackRock is expecting, according to Fortune, which we need to talk about. I'll save that for another video. If you want to see the video about BlackRock and expectations for 2024, inflation, and ultimately how we can get ready for it, then make sure that you drop a comment down below so that I can see that there's enough interest in that, and I'll be sure to make that video next. So, New York Times says that Target on Wednesday said its sales declined in the second quarter, a period in which the retailer faced boycotts and right-wing backlash over its Pride Month collection. Target said its comparable sales fell 5.4% in the second quarter, which ended July 29 versus the same period last year. And it said that both the numbers of transactions and the average transaction amount declined during the quarter, and e-commerce sales also fell 10.5%, which honestly is a big deal because with inflation, we should see the average transactions amounts increasing. So if they decline, then that says a lot. Despite the sales decline, the company reported higher profit margins than analysts expected as it offered fewer discounts and reduced its inventory costs. So even though they're not getting the revenue that they expected, they're still getting the profit that they want. And again, this is at the expense of offering fewer discounts and reduced its inventory costs. Now, they're also going to reduce some of their overhead and operating expenses to bring that cost level down to increase the profit on these lower sales volume amounts. And I want to say that Sarah actually shared, I think Sarah shared it yesterday or the day before, that Target had some huge opportunity where you would actually get gift cards for certain purchases that you get immediately. So that's a huge win for shoppers and, saving money while you're shopping at Target. But for overall, Target is working on ways that they can reduce their costs and even with lower sales volume, still and receive the profit that they want, which potentially may be leading towards something better, something good, perhaps what BlackRock is anticipating for 2024. Because if Target's able to sell less, have fewer transactions and lower transaction volume and amounts, but also maintain profit, that means they're buying at a discount, which means that the raw material suppliers, their cost of goods, what they're buying from China and other countries coming over on shipping containers, that price is being negotiated down, which then eventually we should, at some point in time, see more competition in the market, which would then drive these stores, these big box retailers that are still around and still in existence, like Target and Walmart and Costco and Sam's Club and everybody going up against everybody, Fred Meyer, to then begin to fight amongst themselves to be the lowest price possible, offer the best discounts and greatest incentive for the consumer, you and I, and potentially see some sort of reversal here as we try to get back to normal. Whereas we won't see the reverse crash in retail as we are seeing in the housing market, but we'll save that for another video. Now, it says that in May, Target faced criticism and calls for boycotts for its displays and products tied to Pride Month, the annual celebration for the LGBTQ community. And we can see protesters here on the screen. And it says that on a call with analysts on Wednesday, Target's chief executive CEO Brian Cornell addressed the backlash. Quote, "As we navigate an ever-changing operation and social environment, we're committed to staying close to our guests and the expectations of Target," end quote. Brands and retailers are paying a big price for being caught in the crosshairs of America's culture wars. Target reported Wednesday that the backlash over its LGBTQ plus merchandise before and during Pride Month in June took a bite from its sales. This comes on the heels of Bud Light's parent company also reporting substantial losses in U.S. sales and profits due to similar reaction to a marketing campaign. The moment is leading executives to wonder about the benefits of supporting social causes during a time of such polarization in the country. Now, this part right here is very interesting to see, and actually, this is not a quote, but this is more like the opinion of this writer here. But I think that this actually kind of holds true across the board. What do you guys think? Now, it says that the reaction is a signal for us to pause. Now, this is actually a quote from Target's chief growth officer, CGO. They're coming up with new titles left and right. The reaction is a signal for us to pause and adapt and learn so that our future approach to these moments balances celebration, inclusivity, and broad-based appeal. And he said that just the other day. In the meantime, also helping Target manage the quarter were cheaper freight costs, reduced supply chain and online fulfillment expenses, increased retail prices, and lower markdowns, which is exactly what we were talking about just a few minutes ago. So now they can no longer play the game and say that, their costs continuously increase, because we know that their costs do not. So eventually we should see lower prices for us on the shelves and at the self-checkouts. Shrink inventory caused by continued theft is still hurting the retailer. And earlier in the year, Cornell said shoplifting was going to cost $500 million in lost profit, which may actually be an untraceable and untrackable quantity and figure, which would more than likely allow these companies and corporations the ability to continuously lean on that to offset the savings and the reduction in costs that they're receiving from their suppliers to keep prices high. Now, Target plans on continuing to lean on grocery more as the year winds down. Investing in more grocery helped the company in the second quarter as sales in snacks, candy, and beverages were strong. But I've already told you guys before, the future of food, that's where the money's at. And then odds are Target will probably end up in that grocery and supermarket chain that also receives synthetic beef and cultured lab grown or created chicken, 3D printed chickens. Health and beauty sales were also encouraging. Target also announced last week that Starbucks will be available for curbside pickup at over 1,700 stores. And the chief growth officer also said that we're going to play the long game. And I quote, "We don't carry our assortment for a moment in time, but we're going to lean into the kinds of things that have made Target Target." What do you guys think?